So we're going to start off today with just sort of the basics of a little bit of chemistry. We're going to talk about some definitions, some terms, because all of these nutrients we're going to talk about, they're all chemical compounds and elements, and we need to know a little bit about chemistry before we get started.
What's biochemistry?
So to begin, biochemistry is the chemistry of living things. Next year in 8th grade science, you guys will have a unit on chemistry. Later on, maybe in high school, you might take chemistry as a course. But chemistry has to do with how elements and how matter combines in different ways. So what does this word mean, matter? So what is matter?
Well,
Grima?
I have a question.
Hold on, let's get this first. Shay?
Yeah, it's just like, isn't it like when you can, matter is like something that takes up space and stuff?
That's one half of it.
Oh, okay.
Patrick, you know the other half?
Like it's anything.
No, I don't know.
I don't know. Anything.
That's what I just said. But there's another part to it. Jackson?
Every single thing that's on Earth other than like air, light, and.
Not quite, but you're getting close. Jared?
Anything that takes up space and has mass.
Yes.
Oh.
So something is matter if it has mass and takes up space.
What's mass?
Matter is basically
Matter.
all of the stuff around us. Okay? So obviously your desk is made of matter. It has a certain mass. Hold on. It has a certain volume. It takes up space. You are made of matter. Your body
I can't see it though.
takes up space. You have mass. But things like water is matter as well. Air, sometimes people get confused. Air is matter. It's made of molecules that actually have mass. They take up space. Those are all matter. Everything in the universe is either matter or the other category is energy. Things like heat, light, sound. Those aren't types of matter. Those are types of energy. So everything in the universe is either matter or energy. And Maggie, what was your question?
Do you teach 8th grade chemistry?
No, I don't. Krima?
Isn't chemistry
Teaches.
No.
like you do
All
experiments
right,
and you're
so
like.
matter, which has mass and takes up space, all matter is made up of smaller pieces we call molecules. And we mentioned molecules a little bit. A molecule you could think of as sort of the smallest piece of something that's still the same material. I'll explain that a little more in a second.
I know what you're talking about.
I get you mystery
So, if you have, let's say, if I have my water bottle up here, it has some water in it. Okay, so that water is matter, it has mass, it takes up space. Okay, it's made of molecules of water. If I took this water and I just took one drop out with a pipette, is that still water?
Yes.
Yes. If I took that one drop and I split it in two, is it still water?
How do you split it into?
All right, if I continue that, I can't really do this, but if I could continue doing that, eventually I'd get to the point where I have a single water molecule. Now that's still water. It has all the properties of water, okay? But that's the smallest amount of water I could possibly have. If I were to take that water molecule and split it, now I don't have water anymore. I have other things. I have some hydrogen and some oxygen, but it's no longer water. So a molecule is the smallest piece of something that you can have. So, a water molecule has one oxygen atom bonded to two hydrogen atoms. You don't have to.
That's cool.
Joe?
It's either atom splitting or molecule splitting, where if you split it, it creates nuclear energy.
Yeah. Splitting of atoms.
No.
Or combining of atoms is how nuclear power works. Right?
What would the little symbols be for cheese?
Cheese?
Yeah.
Cheese is not a compound like other compounds. It's made of a mixture of a bunch of different things.
Like what would milk be?
Milk is the same thing. It's a mixture of different things.
No, but cheese has
Milk is bacteria.
All right.
No, it's not.
Mary, do you have a question?
Stop ruining my
All right, guys. Quiet. Joe. So molecules are the smallest piece of things, but they are made of other things. Molecules are made of what we call atoms. Atoms are the building block of matter. So a water molecule is made of 2 atoms of hydrogen and 1 atom of oxygen. All right, we have a few more definitions here. Not right now. All right, elements. So you probably learned about elements in the past. What do we call the list of all the elements that exist on Earth? Okay. Yeah, the periodic table of the elements lists all the elements, and an element is a pure substance. Is that? So, give me an example of an element. Jackson?
Well, is it kind of a question because like there's a brand called the elements and there's like water, fire, earth.
Yeah, that was like an old, people used to, in ancient Greece, people used to say, there are 4 elements, earth, wind, water, fire. That's sort of outdated. But Austin, example of an element?
Water?
Not water, because that's a compound. Christian?
There's like the periodic table that has all of the
Yeah.
AI, sorry, H2O.
No? No?
That's compound.
Jared?
AU gold.
AU is gold.
Oh.
O is
Oxygen.
oxygen. Prima?
Is he the one that's neon?
Neon is an element. Joe? Fe, which is, you know what it is?
Iron.
Iron. Yeah.
Silicone.
Silicone, Si.
Fe is iron.
Yep. That's just, all right. So those are pure substances. What is iron made out of?
Iron.
Just iron. What gold is? It's gold. It's not made of any other types of stuff. It's just gold. Oxygen is just oxygen. It's a pure substance. It cannot be separated into other things. Gold is just gold.
If you keep cutting it, it won't turn the
No.
down?
Turn the small piece.
So carbon is another example. Okay. In the periodic table that you've seen, there's one in your agenda, I think. You'll use it
Yep.
a lot next year. But the periodic table lists, I don't know, there's 130 or so right now. Those are all of the elements that are found on Earth. Yeah. Yeah, lead. PB is lead. Yeah, Jackson?
They make carbon arrows. Is that like actually made of carbon? Or is
It's
that
made
like
of
different?
probably carbon fiber, which is partially carbon.
Oh, okay.
Joe?
Aren't our bodies made of carbon?
Oh, much of our body's made of carbon, yeah.
That's just really.
All right, so now elements are pure substances. Compounds are not though. Can you guess what the definition of a compound would be?
I found it in
I
your-
know.
I know, I have it.
Austin?
Like, one element.
Yeah, that's exactly it. When you have 2 or more of these elements combined, we call that a compound. So these elements can be combined in different proportions to form what we call compounds.
Oh, I'm writing in the wrong box.
And one interesting thing is that when you join elements to form a compound, you often end up with something that has properties that are completely different from the elements that make it up. One example is if you take the reactive explosive metal sodium,
And
hold it, Maggie. If you combine it with chlorine, which is a deadly gas used as a weapon, used in mustard gas in World War
World
I.
War II.
When you combine those 2 dangerous elements, you end up with this basic table salt that you put on your food each day. Okay. Salt is sodium chloride, NaCl. It's made of those two elements, but when they combine together, they have obviously radically different properties. Brandon?
Wait, is that the same chlorine that you put in pools? Or is it?
That you put what?
Is it the same chlorine you put in?
Yeah, same chlorine you put in pools, in a sort of a slightly different form. Jared?
If you put sodium in water, it catches fire.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Maggie?
So what would sugar be?
Sugar is a carbohydrate. It's made of carbon, hydrogen, and
So
oxygen.
is it made of anything like explosive?
No. Well, yeah, I guess hydrogen on its own is a flammable gas. Oxygen is flammable.
There's just this thing that you use for fire starting in camps. It's like this, like magnesium. That's
Oh, yeah.
extremely
It's another metal. Magnesium is another unstable metal that,
Like if you put water on
yeah.
it.
Unstable?
Yep.
Is that an L? or-
That's an L, NaCl. All right.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Okay, now, to move on here, when we talk about biochemistry, we split compounds into two main categories. Organic compounds and inorganic compounds. Now, here's something that gets a little confusing, is that I know you've heard the word organic, but the way you have heard it used in like a grocery store is not related to chemistry at all. So when you go to the store and you buy organic lettuce, it just means it was grown without pesticides and not using artificial fertilizers. That's completely different than this definition. So you got to kind of separate them in your mind. So organic compounds is any compound that contains both carbon and hydrogen. The compound has both of those elements, then we consider it organic.
Isn't oxygen organic since it's like
No.
natural?
Water's organic.
It's
We'll
food.
talk about it. So glucose, is glucose organic?
No.
No.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Why is it, Andrew? Did you say yes? Jared, do you know why?
Because like in photosynthesis, there's carbon and hydrogen used.
Yeah. What's the formula for glucose?
C6H12O6.
It has carbon, it has hydrogen, it's organic.
Oh, okay.
Okay? It contains both hydrogen and carbon. What about something like water?
Almost. Not really.
No.
Is it organic or is it the other category called inorganic?
It's inorganic.
It is
It's
organic.
inorganic.
No.
Does it contain carbon and hydrogen?
Yes.
Water does?
Oh, no.
No. It does not. It's missing the carbon. Therefore, it's called inorganic. Has to have both. Carbon dioxide is also inorganic. It has carbon, but it's missing the hydrogen. No. Silicon dioxide, again, missing both. Salt, missing both. It's inorganic.
I have a question.
Yes.
Because there's like food called hydrogenated. Is there hydrogen in that? Is that what's called
Yeah, a hydrogenated fat is a saturated fat where it has all of its bonds filled in with hydrogen.
You're making hydrogen cars.
Hydrogen cars run on the element hydrogen, which is flammable but can provide power for a vehicle. If you ever heard of the Hindenburg accident,
Yes.
the big blimp sort of airship in Germany that burst into flames, it burst into flames because it wasn't filled with helium or another gas. It was actually filled with hydrogen, which is flammable.
And it was made of carbon.
Because if it's contained, you can use it as a fuel source, but you have to have certain precautions to make sure it doesn't.
That's stupid.
Yes.
So if you put gas in your car, wouldn't it like blow up?
No, because it's under a controlled explosive where a spark ignites the gasoline and air mixture, which creates a small explosion, which moves the pistons in the car, which actually provides power to your wheels. That's how an engine works. It's a whole series of tiny little explosions in the pistons that cause the engine to start moving.
Puzzling.
Isn't that why you can't turn on your car while you're pumping gas?
Well, you're not supposed to,
You're
yeah.
not supposed to like.
Yeah, there's a small chance of that. Jared?
This is really random, but on the periodic table of elements, is there what element is PO?
Polonium?
Is that?
Why do you ask?
Well, because yesterday I thought I heard we were talking about like, well, the first thing when we were talking about like what the thingy for glucose is, I thought I heard someone say 3CPO or C3PO. So I was wondering like if you were to like combine those elements, then like what would
Oh, see, because polonium actually, the element polonium, guys, has been in the news recently. I don't know how close you guys follow the news, but
I do.
polonium is a radioactive element. And Yasser Arafat, who is a leader from the Middle East who died several years ago, they thought that he may have been poisoned. They now went back to look at results to see if he was poisoned with polonium. They said there was not conclusive evidence of that yet. But anyway, that was related to polonium. Yes, quick, Maggie.
So, like, I don't really understand, like, organic and inorganic. So if it's inorganic, it doesn't have carbon and hydrogen.
Right.
So it has to have both carbon and
Yeah.
hydrogen
To be organic. Yeah.
Nelson Mandarin.
Yeah. All right, so last thing for today, nutrition. So our unit is really about nutrition. This is some basic biochemistry. From here on out, we'll talk about nutrients. So our definition of nutrients, like we said, a nutrient is a part of food that your body can use. Some useful part of the foods that you eat that your body can take in and use for some purpose. Joe?
Water is used for staying hydrated and moving things around.